ಈ ಸಭೆಯಲ್ಲಿರುವ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ನನ್ನ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ತಿಳಿಸ್ತೀನಿ. ದೊಡ್ಡವರು ತಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀರಾ. ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಈ ಸಭೆಯಲ್ಲಿ just in front of you on the stage, we all had the privilege of honoring 20 karma yogis. In different field, they have dedicated their life for the propagation of Sanatana Dharma. They have lived their life as per Sanatana Dharma. And they have totally sacrificed themselves for a larger cause that is much, much bigger than them as an individual. So I take this opportunity to deeply thank as well as say our best wishes for the longevity of all the 20 awardees who were in the stage and who just went there and they were sitting in their respective chairs. Justice Sri D.K. Singh sir is not with us. He had some other program, so he had to leave at 6:30. And a Karma Yogi whom I have seen for a long, long time, the managing trustee of Shankara Cancer Foundation, and who has dedicated his whole life for serving cancer patients. As a former police officer, I had the unique privilege of seeing sir in action in close quarters in the same area where I have served, Dr. Srinath Avargal. And most importantly, the person who put together this wonderful function, who has dedicated his life for the propagation of Sanatana Dharma and also instilling cultural values to the youth of our country and especially this area, Vidwan Srinivasan sir, chairman of Surabharati Sanskrit and Cultural Foundation, renowned Carnatic musician, who honored the stage by his presence, Sri R.K. Padmanabha sir, Vidwan, who is also with us, former IAS officer and our former chief secretary of the state, and he was just about retiring. I joined the service, Dr. Ramaswamy sir, who is also with us. I take the opportunity to pay my respects to him, and the wonderful architect of this unique premise, a person who is keeping a very simple life, doesn't want to come on stage, but somehow forcefully they brought him on stage today. The architect Krishna Kumar, who is with us, I pay my respects and compliments to him. And the businessman Narasimha sir, who is also on the stage. And my dear friend Nagaraju sir, who is also in the stage, I pay my respects and compliments to all of them, and more importantly, the devotees who have come here. This month is a very, very special month, the month of Margali in Tamil, what we say. And Margashri is a month which is very, very close to God. In Vedas, we all know when God mentioned that he will be born as this God, he likes this part of the week. When it came to month, the Almighty said Margali month is something that is very, very closer to the Almighty. And this is the time of the year when we walk through the streets of Chennai, when we walk through the streets of Bengaluru, we all hear music, we all hear wonderful sounds, we all hear the Carnatic singers at their very best. We all see some of the finest dramas that is enacted on a stage. We all see the artist who soulfully perform for us for the whole month. In Tamil, during the rule of a Chola king, when the poet came to the court, he sang a song and he was expecting that the king would honor the poet. The king failed to honor the poet. The poet said, Mandavunum Nidano Valanadum Ninnado. The rough translation being, are you the only king in the world? Only your kingdom has got the fertile land. I have knowledge with me. So all the Vidwans, all the scholars, ELSI, Nadagam, all the three forms of music and art, in the whole month of Margali, when they all perform, they don't expect any returns. They don't expect any vehumadi, what we call sambattu. They don't expect any money. All they want is people turning up, sitting and cheering for them. That is the only blessing they expect. I only hope and pray the wonderful foundation which has taken Surabharati Sanskrit and Cultural Foundation, which is doing it for the last 20 years. And this yeoman service has entered the 21st year. And starting from today, for the next 30 days, we will see wonderful people coming here and performing in this stage. Some of the finest known names from across India. I only wish and pray that all of us find time, especially small children, our elders, and whatever work we do, come here by 6:30, 6 o'clock, be with this performers till about 9:30, 10, till the performance is on. Because it is very important for the Sanatana Dharma to continue to evolve, continue to stay here, continue to guide us. These performers who come on the stage should have that sense of appreciation so that it motivates them to go on and on. That is my only vision, prayer, that the inauguration that is happening today, for the next 30 days, we all will have the opportunity to see, listen and feel the music at its best, oratory at its best, drama at its best, yakshagana at its best, all the art forms at its best. Let us get the opportunity to do that. I was asking Vidwan Srinivasan sir what to speak. He said you should speak about Sanatana Dharma. We live in a part of the world, the Bharatkhande, which is blessed for a long, long time. And people who are born here, or people who are not born even chose to come and live here, we all follow a certain dharma of life. It's a pulse of life. We call it a way of life. In 1893 in Chicago, Swami Vivekananda had to make this very forceful claim. When he went for the World Parliament of Religions, when a lot of people from different religions, they spoke in front of him, everybody used a word called religion, religion and religion. And the 18th number in that stage was Swami Vivekananda, who had to go and speak. He mentioned, since everybody came before me, you mentioned religion, 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 and your religion is better and your religion is best. Then I am also forced to call our way of life as religion. We all know till the Britishers came, we never ascribed Hinduism as a religion. We always ascribed Hinduism as a way of life. Because it pervades our life. Some of the honorary who was here, we honored him. 4:30 he gets up. The simple act of walking in the street. Simple act of plucking a flower. The simple act of doing that aradhana for the God. Before even the day starts, the simple act of dedication is a classic Sanatana Dharma in action. And we mentioned about Kannan, who during the time of Corona, hundreds of unclaimed bodies, he chose to go do the final rites for them as a son. And that simple act is a classic essence of Sanatana Dharma. And an IT engineer who decided to sacrifice his life, come and protect our cows, Gomata, and develop a big team, and the whole team is sitting here. That is a classic case of Sanatana Dharma. And we had seen scientists at their best. But whatever profession, they always looked at us as a seva. Some nuclear scientist was here, somebody who served Bell, somebody who served Air Force, installing radars for us. All those people, they chose to do their work as a seva. That is a classic Sanatana Dharma in action. And that is why Swami Vivekananda in 1893, he was forced to tell the whole world, since all of you call religion, then I have to say, I come from the mother of all religions. And he also went one step further to say, and since everybody using the word called religion, then my way of life, I am also using the word called religion, so that people better understand. So that is why a lot of people try to bracket the Hinduism into a sect, into a creed, into a follower-oriented philosophy. But anybody who is a practicing Hindu will know we are more than that. We don't belong to a sect, we are much more than that. We treat the whole world as one unit. We treat all human beings the same. We don't ascribe a caste or a creed or even a small linguistic differences we might have. The Britishers conveniently had administrative divisions. The Britishers conveniently classified caste into scheduled, into notified, into upper, into lower. So the last 200 years, there is a certain deviation in the pattern of our lives. Now all the 20 great people whom we honored on the stage and all the great people who are sitting in the stage, all of us are making that effort to rightfully tell the world what our way of life, what our Hinduism means. And we all know Mahabharata is such a big epic. In its classic form, Mahabharata is more than 100,000 verses. But if I take only the Jaya part of Mahabharata, which is about 8,800 verses, what many people mistakenly call Mahabharata, the battlefield where Sanjaya was trying to describe to King Dhritarashtra what is happening. If I take only that 8,800 verse, even in that 8,800 verse, if I take only the Bhishma Parva, if I take only that, even in that Bhishma Parva, if I take only from chapter 6 to chapter 13, even in that, I take only from verse 6 of chapter 6 to verse 37 of chapter 13, then we all know what Bharata Kanta is. I'm talking of an epic written 5,500 years back in its classic beauty, which describes Bharata Kanta, where Sanjaya keeps describing, because he had this divine vision that was gifted to him. He says this is a land. It describes the north and south. It describes the ocean. He goes in detail because he has to describe it from chapter 6 to chapter 16. He has to go for 10 chapters. He describes very deeply. This is a land which has got 220 kingdoms. And he mentions the name of the kingdoms, the kings. The Swamiji was mentioning, Sannidhanam Swamiji was mentioning about Kalinga. He mentions everything. Not only that, he goes one step further. He also mentions 80 mountain ranges, which is present across Bharat. Sanjaya goes again very deep into it. He mentions the 30 big lakes. He mentions the 30 big forests. He doesn't stop there. He goes still further. He mentions all the 300 pilgrim sites that we have. We are talking of an epic which is 5,500 years back in absolute pristine detail. From a lake to a mountain to a pilgrim center to the border, it fixes everything. Sanjaya in his divine version keeps talking. And for anybody in our country who is questioning whether Bharat as an entity is whole, or there is an artificial divide between north and south, east and west, or northeast, are we culturally the same, or genetically are we different? I only tell them, even the blind king was able to understand from Sanjaya what he was describing. Now a lot of politicians, even with their eyes on, they just have to understand this was always a classic Bharat and it will continue to be a Bharat. We might have minor differences in terms of our speaking ability or a language or the food habit or the custom, but this is Bharata Varsha, the Bharata Kante. Now, this is where we practice Sanatana Dharma more than any other part. Since I mentioned Kannanji, since I mentioned Corona, if you look at the world statistics, some of the advanced Western democracies had perfectly functioning health model. And we had a former chief secretary who's sitting in the stage. He knows it better than all of us. Perfectly functioning healthcare system. If you look at per 1 lakh people, which country had the highest death rate, we can directly equate that to some of the best so-called Western democracies, which had the healthcare model. Americans had one of the highest death rates for 1 lakh people. Some of the countries in Europe had the highest death rates. Countries like Italy, countries like Spain, which essentially the healthcare system collapsed. But they said when Corona started in 2020, Jan end, they said, oh, we are worried about India. The whole world is worried about India. WHO is worried about India. They made statements, such a big country, 140 crore population, which doesn't have the best healthcare model. I am wondering how many deaths India will have. People are calculating crore deaths, multiple crore deaths. But we had the lowest death in the world. Why? The question is why? And you must be very surprised when the lockdown of 30-40 days happened, when all of us were inside our home. Have you seen any dog dying in the street? We haven't seen a dog dying in the street. Have you seen even a squirrel dying? No. Have you seen a small bird that is dying in the street? No. Have you seen a pigeon, which we keep feeding in big cities? Have you seen a pigeon dying? No. Did we see a street cat or a dog dying? No. Because Sanatana Dharma was in classic action during Corona period. We took care of every single person. We took care of the animate and so-called inanimate things. Even the dog in the street, even the neighbor's cat, if they were not there. And people came out. That is the truest sense. And we have seen a lot of our neighbors behaving abnormally, within quotation, because that was the normal Sanatana Dharma in action. In this hurry-burry industrialist world, IT engineers to manufacturing, morning 8 o'clock packing, going to the office, coming back at 9 o'clock. So lot of us have lost our moral self. It is during COVID, many of us found what our true moral compass was. If we go back, and human beings, we tend to forget very easily. Now we have crossed COVID and 4 years, many of us have forgotten COVID. But if we take us back to 2021, we know that was a classic Sanatana Dharma in action. We cared about people, we gave food, we put a mask, we took that risk to go to a hospital, cook food in our home, go and serve in the queue, we served it. We did everything possible. Somebody like Mr. Kannan, COVID, body, there is a virus, nobody knows. Even the health workers were they were dying. But somebody bravely going there, 100 bodies, not one, not two, not three, hundreds of bodies trying to do the final rites. The point I'm trying to communicate here is, as long as we don't forget what binds us as human beings, as long as we are aware that there is a dharma, there is an underlying dharma that is above the so-called CRPC, so-called IPC, which there is, it's an unseen dharma which is binding all of us, which keeps a sense of righteousness. When any adharma anywhere comes, the dharma always balances it by its own action. And people will always come when there is a need for people, like Krishna Paramatma said. If we have this underlying sense, our life will always be in order. And also I see a lot of young children here, and it is important that we understand people have given their life to protect, to enhance this dharma. It is not that this dharma is there for the last many years. It will continue to be there for the many years. If I look back at the history, if you look at the Ottomans and the Turks and the Arabs, from 2nd and 3rd century when they started their conquest across the world, in about 3 centuries they were able to conquer about 70% of the world. They were literally on the border of Kashmir from 6th century. From 6th century, the Arabs and the Turks were on the border. But you'll be wondering, for almost 600 years they were stopped from entering our Bharat. Almost 600 years. After 600 years of fight, they were able to enter Bharat. Kings like Lalitaditya, Kashmiri king from 6th and 7th century, they stood there, protected the border. They never cared about Kashmir. They always had that vision of Bharat. They never thought about one line, one geographical boundary. Again, if you go slightly deep, when the Dutch wanted to come, Martanda Varma, the Kolachal king, probably the first guy in the whole world, taking on the mighty Dutch in the high seas, defeating them in the Battle of Kolachal. Again, if we see kings after king, the Cholas, who always had a sense of world, who always had a sense of Bharat. The Mahabharatas and the Ramayanas that we talk now, I was asking somebody today, they said, I am in Vietnam day after tomorrow for a Ramayana session. If any of us travel to the Far East countries, we see different countries now, including Vietnam, the present day Myanmar, the Cambodia, even the kings who come in. It is a sense of Ramayana, Ramakate they sung, and the king comes and takes their crown. Very classically, you can see Thailand. Every time a new king comes, it is the mantras from Ramayana, the Vedic mantras that is spoken before the king crowns themselves. We see this Sanatana Dharma was taken far and wide by the kings, especially the Cholas, who were in the southern part of our country. They have taken it very deep, and they have made it a way of life. And this is something that we always have to acknowledge. We always have to understand that kings have stood at the altar of history protecting this dharma. Lot of monks and saints, the great Adi Shankaracharya is here at a difficult time for the Sanatana Dharma, when Sanatana Dharma existence was itself threatened. He had to journey across Bharat not once, not twice, thrice, 4 times he had to journey across our country, going from pilgrim center to pilgrim center, using Darga Sastra, arguing with people, trying not to conquer, only trying to tell them what the other side of the argument was. Establish all the great pitas, including the Sringeri Peeth, in which many of us are followers and devotees, in which we are enjoying this continuation of Sanatana Dharma. The point I'm trying to convey is it is important we should have a sense of history. A lot of people, thousands of years they were before us. They protected Sanatana Dharma. All the great 20 individuals whom we honored on the stage, they are practitioners of Sanatana Dharma. This we have to understand. It is our moral duty to practice and propagate Sanatana Dharma. Not necessarily Sanatana Dharma as a practice at a worship. To live our life, the Sanatana Dharmic value, transcend our ego, do our work, surrender our work as a sense of seva, and many things people say. Atomic bomb, when Oppenheimer has to bring that bomb, when the test phase was on, he was always confused whether to bring the bomb or not to bring the bomb, whether to kill innocents by a single drop of an atomic bomb. When the test was on, not many of us knew that Oppenheimer chose to study Bhagavad Gita in its classic Sanskrit format. So he spent 2 years of his life to learn Sanskrit, study Bhagavad Gita in Sanskrit, to understand the sense of karma and duty, which gave him a clarity to go with the test of the atomic bomb, and which we all know. Even such a sinful weapon as an atomic bomb, even the person who invented it had this moral call
whether to do it or not to do it, because it is a one-way street. You can't come back. And he argues it is the Gita that gave him clarity, even for a sinful weapon as an atomic bomb, to do it as a service, because if the war continues, millions will get killed. If the bomb gets dropped, thousands or lakhs will get killed. So every single phase of life we see a person at a point of time, a moral clarity in his life. They need gurus, they need conviction, they need the sacred text to guide them, they need a sense of seva into their life. They have to understand what is the purpose of work. Is it to make money? Is it to gain fame? Is it to gain prestige? Is it to become bigger and bigger? Or to totally surrender in the divine feet and do everything as a sense of seva, because thousands and hundreds and lakhs of people have done it before. I only hope and pray our children understand this faster. And the young minds who are sitting here, who chose to build the new Bharat in the next 20-25 years, they understand sooner what is work, what is seva, what is karma. The faster they understand, the quality of our life improves, the quality of our country improves, the quality of our living improves. That is my only prayer. To make it to happen, the children have to come. They have to come for this kind of cultural event. They have to come and attend functions. They have to come and listen to gurus who speak. They have to come and see all the 20 great individuals who came here, who took the honor and who went back. But they have done 100 and 1,000 times more than what I have done or what many of us have done here. I think faster our children understand, they will know what Sanatana Dharma is. They will continue to live, propagate and practice. So I take this opportunity once more to urge our youngsters, young people, school students, college students, to adopt Sanatana Dharma as a way of life, to coexist with all the living beings around us, transcend the sense of self-identity, geographical boundary, culture, language, look at human beings as a whole, start doing seva with a larger sense of conviction. Then that is India that is called Vishwaguru, not the economic India. Economic India doesn't mean that we are the fourth largest economy, will be third largest, second largest. It will come, it's a matter of time. And Vishwaguru essentially means the foundation for Ramarajya. And many people say, where is Rama? Rama, please come, we need Ramarajya. No, Ramarajya doesn't mean Rama. Ramarajya means the people who lived during Rama's time. And Ramarajya doesn't mean we need to have a Rama to guide us. We need people who lived during Rama's time. We need same kind of people, the same kind of mentality. Then a Ramarajya is possible. For that, let us all adopt Sanatana Dharma as a basic way of life, live our life very joyfully, needfully. Whatever we need, we take it. Let us always don't be afraid to speak the truth. Always do dharma, always do seva, always look life that is larger than me, identity and small things that I associate with a dress or a powerful brand I wear or the money in my bank account. Let all people have this realization so that we live a better life, a better quality of life, and India achieves the distinction of Vishwaguru. Then the other part of the world will follow. I'll just take one more minute because I knew time is running out. Because if you look at the population of the world, the largest number of people in the world are Christians, which is approximately about 260 crore, 255 crore. The Hindus are about 125 crore. We are the largest in about 11 countries. The Muslim population is approximately about 175, 180 crore. So the Christians come first, the Islam comes second. The third largest religion in the world is a religion called non-believer. About 130, 135 crore people in the world don't believe in any religion, don't believe in God. The fourth largest religion in the world is Hinduism. Now if you project it to 25 years from now, by 2050, 2055, Islam will be the largest religion in the world. Then comes Christianity. Then will be the third religion of non-believers. Then will be Hinduism. I am not speaking against any religion, nor I am pulling down any religion. We have to understand, for Sanatana Dharma to survive, which is essentially about 125 crore people out of 700 crore, which is essentially the largest religion in just 11 countries. It is important Bharat has to show its way in the next 20-25 years so that other religions will also start adopting Sanatana Dharma as a way of life for world peace. And that is the challenge for this generation. More than any other generation, the current generation's challenge in the next 20 years is to live a way of life that even a Christian or an Islam or even a non-believer will start adapting this into their life system. That will be the ultimate success of Sanatana Dharma. That is why every time we talk about world peace, every time we say Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, we want the world beings to be at peace. For that to happen, the Sanatana Dharma's essence has to enter into other religion. It is not a competition, not trying to conquer. It is trying to bring that essence into other religion. UK, 52% of people in UK don't have a religion. 30% in America don't have a religion. They say, we don't believe in God. We don't believe in religion. That is a threat for us, for the youngsters. So let us live. Let us wisely propagate this. Let us speak more and more so that the essence keeps going across geographical boundary. Thank you so much for the great honor and opportunity. I once again take this unique opportunity to thank our Vidwan Srinivasan ji. When he was talking about his ordeal, that he was bedridden, he had to go to Sringeri, meet the Mahasannidhanam and Sannidhanam. I could see tears coming from his mother's eyes. His mother and father who were sitting in the front row, I could see tears coming from his mother's eyes, because it is every single mother, when they sacrifice a son or a daughter in the cause of Sanatana Dharma, then Sanatana Dharma prospers. So I take the opportunity to thank all the mothers here for willingly giving their sons and daughters to propagate the Sanatana Dharma. I think that is the greatest single blessing anybody can get. So mother and father both are here. I take this opportunity to thank them also. Jai Hind, Namaste.